one of the big ones for this, and everyone, welcome to the part two of the Tuesday free agency, Monday chaotic free agency. This is the second half of our videos, and we started off with the biggest one. Saquon Barkley got added to the Eagles. He got a 3-year deal with $37.75 million. Thanks to the rap sheet and everyone else at the NFL who keeps us up to date on these. Uh, the Eagles' offense is going to be, in my opinion, a lot better than what we had last year. But also, we've got to hope that Saquon Barkley doesn't get injured and that this is his breakout year. No issues. And if so, he will make a huge name for himself in Philly. Kirk Cousins did get out of Minnesota. He went to the Falcons. They gave him a 4-year deal down there in Atlanta. So it looks like Atlanta will have a new starting quarterback come this season. And we know how good Kirk Cousins can be with the right offense. And I think the Falcons just added themselves the possibility to be a contender in the NFC South yet again. Steelers released Patrick Peterson. The Panthers franchise tagged Brandon Burns. Josh Allen was franchise tagged by the Jaguars. He's a big force on that defense. I do not disagree with them doing this one. The Saints signed Willie Gay from the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles signed Gardner Johnson back from the Lions. Steelers traded for Dante Jackson from the Panthers, along with the Texans signing Darnell Hunter. The Bears agreed to terms with Kevin. The Dolphins signed Shaquille Barrett. The Falcons got another good wide receiver from the Bears and Darnell Mooney. Joe Mixon was released from the Bengals and traded to the Texans. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use Mixon down there in Houston, but I know he will do great things for them. The Commanders signed Marcus Mariota. He could possibly be the starting quarterback there. It just depends on how they want to run that offense. Mariota has had good seasons. He was a good college quarterback. So we'll just see what they decide to do with him over there in Washington. The Bengals signed Mike Gesicki from the Patriots. Mike Gesicki is a decent tight end. So we'll see what they do with him over there in Bengals Nation. The Vikings signed Aaron Jones. We know in our previous video we talked about how a new life, new home, new surroundings can change that. I think in Minnesota that will help as long as he does have the ability to do what he is able to do and just get big yardage, good blocking, and make things happen. The Vikings also got Sam Darnold from the 49ers. Of course, when you let go of a quarterback, you got to replace him. Sam Darnold has been the replacement for now good old Kirk Cousins. The biggest news, I think, besides the Eagles, the Ravens picked up Derrick King Henry for that offensive front. So you got Henry, you also got Lamar, now you got OBJ. I mean, that offensive front is going to probably be Super Bowl contending going forward. Are we sure about that? Of course not. We do not make that decision on how these teams will perform. Of course, injuries, sicknesses, we all know it happens. So we'll just see what happens leading into the season. But everyone stays healthy. The Ravens have the best aspect to win probably the AFC just off of free agency, in my opinion. The Giants got them a decent quarterback from Seattle. Drew Lock did sign with them, so we'll see if he will be the starter for them going into the regular season. The Steelers signed Patrick Queen from the Ravens to add more depth to a hurting defensive side of the ball. Patrick Queen has been good for the Ravens for several years, so we'll see if his ability transitions over to Pittsburgh. The Buccaneers re-signed Latavian David. Good to see him staying with the Buccaneers. The Panthers traded, of course, for Deontay Johnson. So it looks like the Panthers are adding more to their offense and defense. O-line, really good. What they need to do. Can't wait to see what they do and the draft as well. The Jets signed Tyrod Taylor. Not sure exactly what's going on with the Jets organization on the quarterback side. I don't know if he'll be a backup for Aaron Rodgers or what Aaron Rodgers has planned. But Tyrod Taylor did do good for the Giants while he was there and active. So we'll see what they do with him in, basically he didn't really go nowhere in New York. He just changed the team jersey. So we'll see what they do with him, see how they add him to the mix over there. The Patriots signed Jacoby Brissett to a 1-year deal for $8 million. The Seahawks re-signed Leonard Williams for a 3-year deal for $21.5 million. Of course, as we did state, the release of Joe Mixon in our previous video, there was the actual report. It did come through because he was traded to the Texans. The Bengals replaced him with Zach Moss with a 2-year deal, $8 million. Zach Moss was a good running back for the Colts last year. Cannot wait to see if he can replace Joe Mixon there in Bengals territory. The Dolphins signed Jordan Brooks from Seattle. The Patriots re-signed Michael Onu. The Texans signed Azeez Al-Shari. So that's a good add for Texans as well. Texans have always been adding depth to their team, especially since last year. So we're going to be seeing what this team looks like coming to the regular season. They might be more of a threat in the AFC this year than what they were last year. The Packers signed Xavier McKinney from the Giants. He will add depth to that safety aspect for them, and he got a 4-year deal for $68 million. The Packers signed Josh Jacobs from the Raiders for a 4-year deal, $48 million. We know that Jacobs had wanted out of Raider Nation for a long time, and he was very vocal about it. I'm glad to see he is now with the Packers. I do believe he will have what I think will be one of his best years there. The Chargers get Gus Edwards, so we already see Harbaugh doing things over there in Charger Nation. Gus Edwards will be a big add for them. You do have Chiefs franchise tagging Snead. Snead, of course, is another big threat for them on the defensive side. The Buccaneers franchise tag Anati Winfield Jr. Giants sign Devin Singletary. We know that he is a good running back. I don't know if he will replace Barkley for them. They may still have to get somebody else, but we'll see what they decide to do come draft time. The Raiders agreed to terms with Gardner Minshew. We see Minshew do very good for the Colts last year. I think with Anthony coming back for the Colts, Minshew will probably, unless there's an injury, I don't think he would have been needed. But hats off to Minshew, getting him a home there and with the Raiders for a 2-year deal. The 49ers signed Leonard Floyd. Good defensive end there from the Bills for a $20 million 2-year deal. The Commanders signed Frankie LaRue from the Panthers. Another add to that defense for 3 years, $36 million. The Bills re-signed AJ Espinosa. They continue to keep their defensive front at least strong. Got a 2-year deal. Another big one in the running back aspect, you had Austin Eckler sign with the Washington Commanders. So Eckler is now traveling from the AFC to NFC, and we will see how Eckler does under the Commanders' name. The Browns re-signed Zadarius Smith. The Bills extended Deion Dawkins. The Eagles also extended Landon Dickerson. The Rams agreed to terms with Jonah Jackson. So it looks like a lot of linemen are getting a good contracts and good ads and re-signed and kept in their home, which is really good when it comes to being a lineman. The Vikings signed Jonathan Greenard from the Texans. The Patriots signed Antonio Gibson, a running back from the Commanders. Of course, that happens when Austin Eckler probably came over. So, going to be a good transition for Antonio Gibson. Hopefully, get a new life in New England. The Vikings signed Blake Cashman from the Texans. As you can tell, teams are adding depth to defenses, places they were hurting. Good to see that actually happening. Another big running back being changed for the NFL. DeAndre Swift, of course, he was a Lion. Last year he was an Eagle. Now he's a Bear. Hopefully he can find a true home and set some records, get a few milestones under him, get a few playoff wins. We'll see what he can do in Chicago this coming year. He got a 3-year, $24 million due to his accolades and what he's done. And that was also brought to you there, as you can see by the rap sheet. The Broncos released Justin Simmons. That's another loss for the Broncos on the defensive side. Now, big news that we got was big old Jason Kelce. 13 seasons with the Eagles, Super Bowl champion, 7 Pro Bowls, 6 first team All Pro. Has decided that at this time it was set for him to retire. So hats off, congratulations to Jason Kelce. You had a hell of a year. Was one of the best centers. You changed the game when it comes to centers and what to look for in an offensive lineman and a center itself. So hopefully you have a fabulous retirement, and just hope great health, and that if you ever do come back, of course, go back to Philly, do it one more time. Heck, if nothing else, play on a game, play on the same team with your brother, and live out the dream that many siblings would like to had. You did a lot of things that siblings growing up that played sports against each other want to do. So once again, congratulations to Jason Kelce and his fabulous 13 seasons with the Eagles. With all that being said, these are all the updates that we currently have for free agency frenzy that started Monday. Of course, there probably will be more leading in to draft season, which, like I said, is about 30 some days out. We will keep you updated if there is any new changes throughout the week. Football fans, it's about that time of year again, and we are just getting started. As always, thank you all for hanging out with us. If you want to join the community, hit that bell, turn on the notifications. We'll be keeping you updated more frequently with football notifications and updates. As always, Kraken over and out.